Hello, everyone. It is January 5th. It's very late Tuesday night on January 5th, 2021, and I am happy to report that after many hours of effort and years, really, of production of a payroll program, I have finally, after all these years, at least a decade, come up with a version of the file that has all 50 states plus the District of Columbia. 51 entities essentially in the United States. And some of them don't have state tax, but everything is in here. Finally, for the first time ever. So you could run a company with an employee in every single state, and this would be a huge helping hand with what you would need to calculate all your taxes, run your paychecks, create your reports for filing and everything. I'm going to show you what that looks like in color. All right, and this is why I'm so excited. Ken, people ask you, Ken, why are you get so excited about Microsoft Excel files and numbers? Like, what's wrong with you, man? And the answer is, I'm excited because I know that there are thousands of you out there that spend time doing payroll work and needlessly annoyed with what you are doing because of its monotony and difficulty and complexity and stuff. And I have just simplified this process to the point where, watch this. We're going to answer a question in today's video. Watch this paste. Boom. Colors everywhere. What the heck just happened? Wait till you see. We're turning payroll into colors, and we're also going to talk about how to make just fantastic comparisons between states and people. And here's questions I want to answer in this video today, which is, if you're a single person with no kids and no dependents, or just a single person, what's the cheapest state to live in depending on certain salary levels? That's what I want. That's a question I want to answer. And we could also answer it for married too. But we'll start with just single. If you were a single person and you didn't have anybody dependents or anybody on you, and you were making, 50,000 a year, 100,000 a year, whatever it's going to be, we're going to find out the most expensive state to live in tax-wise and the least expensive states, which are probably going to be obviously states that have no state tax, but then also everything. And I'll show you how easy it's going to be to do that and what's going on here, because this is really exciting. All right. And this, of course, is all leading into, if you have a small business and you want to run payroll through your through this Excel file, it's very inexpensive. I'm going to be putting it up for sale tomorrow on the 6th. I'm actually going to be putting up for sale finally this year, and because now that it's complete enough to get started, and we're going to talk about all that. And it's going to be a pretty long video, but it's going to be fun. So if you're interested in understanding payroll and also understanding Microsoft Excel and ways to code in Microsoft Excel, this will be a very interesting video for you. So what I did was I just pasted in all these states, right? This is what it looked like before. Pasted everything, all of a sudden a bunch of colors happened, and there was red all over the place, and like, what is going on here, right? Well, what we have here is we have an employee list. We have lists of people's names, and I have pseudo hidden a lot of these people's names. These are actual people that I know from the state that is listed here. I've been around. So anyway, that's what the names are coming from. If you want to ever dig down, that'll be fun to dig in. But anyway, these are fake names, sort of. I mean, they're fake names, but to people. And you have to enter in these employees. Let's say we have 51 employees in our company, right? And we're going to assume that all these people are, I'm going to call them young single people with no dependents, because I want to give them all the same status so that we can compare down the road. But let's talk about what's going on here. There's a state that is associated with all of these people. And also, this should all really be blank. I should get rid of that too. Okay. So there's a state associated with each one of these people. There's a social security number, which you could list there or not. I mean, you don't need to have it. I can almost delete that. I kind of want to delete it for the purposes of it shouldn't even be used. But it's something you could store there. So there's a big question when it comes to employees, and it starts out with, do you have them with an old W-4 or a new W-4? Did you give them, because there's a different W-4 from 2020 and beyond, and it looks kind of like this. It's different from the old one, which was, old one was like, hey, how many allowances? 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, dude, and you're done. That used to be the old W-4. Now it's a bunch of different questions. And so some people are allowed to still use the old W-4, and it becomes an annoying problem with people with old W-4s and new W-4s. So you have to answer a question about, did this person fill out a new W-4 or not? Let's say that they didn't. Let's say we're dealing with a bunch of old people that never fill out new W-4s, okay? And like I said, all these people were single folks with like just their one exemption for them being them. So all these people got the same thing. These people are all not married. They're millennials. They refuse to get hitched, right? They're not married people. Now, what else is going on over here? Well, a bunch of colors just happened. Like, remember when we got rid of all this? Like, there was nothing here. And then all of a sudden, when I pasted it back in there, there's a bunch of colors. And what's going on here? And the answer is, in every different state and the District of Columbia, there are potentially different things that you need to fill out that are going to pop up in these columns here. And the way that I simplified this process was that I allow you to look one by one. And this is called the state toggler, right? Is that going to work? I'm going to move that. Where's this thing coming from? Let's put it right over there. This is the state toggler, and you can choose any of the states down here. And as soon as you choose a state, it's going to tell you for this state, which is going to pop up in green in this column, it's going to tell you whether or not you need to do anything in any of these columns, and these columns over here, and this column over here for state filing status. Now, I'm not going to get into the new W-4. I'm going to make that another video. But if you chose yes for did this person fill out a new W-4, there's some stuff over here that needs to be filled out. But I'm just going to let that go for now because we're not going to worry about that. But new W-4 will be another video. Now, so I chose Alaska, and it's saying nothing needs to be done here. It's also saying nothing necessarily needs to be done when it comes to local tax or local code. Nothing needs to be done over here. These are related to Arizona and Connecticut and New York. Nothing else needs to happen. Everything's okay. So Alaska's basically done. There's no state tax there. That's one of the reasons, as my friend Rocky would tell you. Now, I don't know no one in Alabama. That's what that person is. And in Alabama, it's asking for something. Well, what is it asking for? Well, let's type in Alabama. It's asking for personal exemptions and dependent exemptions. If you wanted to know more information about what these things are, guess what? We've got info. We've got links. We've got answers to questions hanging out in these cells right here. To grab the Arizona W-4 to pull that up so we can figure out what those personal exemptions are. And they're all going to be pre-populated maybe. Well, let's say that this person has like one exemption, right? That's their thing. They have no dependents. So this is going to be 0 or just leave it blank. Uh-oh, something else happened over here. This one in red. Red is bad. Got to get rid of red. Everything red's got to go. So there's a filing status in Alabama that apparently needs to be chosen. I guess this person's single, remember? We're dealing with our single millennial. That's what the S stands for. Is single, married separately, or head of household. So that's what we need to do for Alabama. So the state toggling thing is going to tell us, well, what do we need to do for Arizona? The answer is just a total number of exemptions. I don't even think that's right. I don't think you need to do exemptions for Arizona. I think you need to just pick this thing. I think you choose your rate. I'm actually going to double check that I haven't done Arizona incorrectly here because I don't think that's true. I don't think you need to do anything here. I think you need to just choose that. But I'll double check just off the top of my head. So we'll see. This is great because it's telling you whether or not you need to fill something out. It turns black if you don't need to do anything with it, and it turns red, right? Like what happened here. If you don't choose a rate for Arizona, why are we off by 1? Uh-oh. We're off by 1. It's really supposed to be right here. I hate to show errors. No, wait a minute. No, sorry, that's Arkansas. I screwed up my state abbreviations. I'm sorry. Arizona, yeah, it doesn't have any. I'm sorry. Arkansas is what we're on. I'm silly. Sorry. My bad. Brain fart. No. Arkansas says how many exemptions? 1, remember? That's what we're doing. Does Arkansas need a filing status? No. Arizona, like we just said, sorry, AZ is Arizona. They do not need any of these things filled. They are not used, but they do need that. That pops up in red and says, hey, you get to choose your rate. What is this person going to choose? I think they're going to choose somewhere down here. I don't know what their salary level is going to be. We're going to give them something right about there. California. What happens with California? Form DE4 allowances from line 1 and additional allowances from the worksheet. We'd have to go dig through those links to find that, but let's just say 1, right? And none for this, even though I don't know the answer to that. Connecticut. Connecticut says you don't have to do anything here, but you need to pick a withholding code of A, B, or C. Oh, man, you're going to make me do research? Oh, man. I don't know who's single or who's married. We could answer that question by looking like right over here somewhere. Let's see here. Which one of these? Doesn't tell me in the titles. Gosh darn it. I'm just going to guess. But if we were doing a better job with this video, I wouldn't just guess. Let's say A is single. I don't know about that though. We'll find out. DC. You're just going to pick a number of exemptions. It's going to be 1. Oh, wait a minute. We forgot to do a filing status for California. See that's still in red? We're single, remember? Okay, let's fix that. No problem. What else we got? We're rolling down. Delaware. President Joe Biden. 1 exemption. Oh, we need a filing status for Delaware too. Let's shrink this a little bit. Let's shrink this a little bit. Let's give ourselves some more room. Delaware. We're single in Delaware. Single in Delaware. Sleepless in Seattle. We'll get there. Florida. Nobody has any tax. Nothing to worry about. Georgia. Yeah, nothing to worry about for Florida man. That's my grandpa, by the way. Passed away this last year. World War II veteran. Good guy. Georgia. Voting tonight. What is Georgia supposed to be? Tell me. Dependent and additional allowances and not used. Really? Not used? Then that means this should be black. Let me explain why that is. So I've set up conditional formatting in this file. What conditional formatting does is it allows you to make a decision about what's going on, and it allows you to make something a color based on what's going on. And if this says not used, then that means we don't need to use this for Georgia, and it should be black. You shouldn't have to fill in. So I'm just fixing that. Let's assume 1 allowance. I don't know, might be 0 actually here for our status, honestly. What's our status? Single. This might actually be 0. I'd have to double check if we cared. Hawaii. Easy Kamikabaole. May he rest in peace. I don't know if he was single. I hope he had some kids. Lulf, you know who you are in Iowa. You're going to give yourself 1 exemption. Do you need to fill out anything here? No. Idaho. You can just see what were those titles, by the way. Idaho, W4 allowances. Hawaii. Sorry, I type in Idaho. Hawaii, HW4 allowances. Iowa, sorry, is Iowa W6, 4 W6 allowances not used. Idaho. Idaho is Idaho W4 allowances. We're going to assume 1 here. Anything red over here? Yes, we are single. Brother Coyle in Illinois. That's right, Illinois is I think just 4.5%. It does say how many allowances. We're going to say 1. Oh, there's a dependent allowance, which we're going to say 0. But there is something that might get filled in there. Hey, Indiana, Crossroads of America. Going to give you 1. And what's this? No dependent exemption from Table B for Indiana there. Ooh, something popped up in red for the first time we don't know how to deal with. That's right, it's local tax. Why is this popping up in red? The answer is because probably somebody you know in Indiana has a local tax that applies because they're like everywhere. So you get to choose, what is it? It's going to tell you which county. Pick a county, pick a county. Where was Johnny Cougar Mellencamp from? Does anybody know? Hendricks sounds about right, even though that's probably wrong. It's going to change whatever the rate is. Somebody find out where Cougar was from, and let's do this. Hancock sounds about right. All right, Kansas. You're in Kansas? You're going to get 1 deduction. Wait a minute, what's this say? Kansas says what? K4 allowances? Sure, we'll give you 1. And pick a filing status. It's going to be signal. Kentucky, you don't have to do anything. Don't worry about it. Louisiana. Louisiana, you're going to pick Louisiana block exemption? Sure, that sounds about right. I'm going to go block be dependent 0. And there's going to be a filing status. It's going to be single. That's right. Massachusetts. Mass. That's right. Massachusetts says Form MP exemption. Sure, 1 sounds about right. No filing status needed. Maryland. Guess what's going to happen with Maryland? You're going to have local taxes to deal with. Form MW507 exemptions is 1. What's your county? Pick a county. I'll give you a county. Prince George's. 3.2%. Oh, pick a filing status too. Single. Done. We can extend this out a little bit if we want to. Maine. Who's ever been there? Tell me what's going on in Maine. Maine, W4 allowances are 1. No local, doesn't look like. Pick a filing status. I'm going to be single. Stephen King. I wish I knew him. Michigan. Michiganders. are going to have Michelin or Michigan W4 exemptions are 1. Don't worry about local, but I know there's something there. Wait a minute. I do see counties here. This should go red. So it doesn't go red, but there are counties for Michigan because yep, whoops, it should go red right here. Let's do a little more conditional formatting fixing right now. If this sucker says that it's in Michigan, then you want that sucker to go red. It doesn't have to be filled, but it should be filled. Yep, see? So let's say East Lansing. No filing status needed. Minnesota. Many friends from Minnesota. I like everybody I know from Minnesota. They're hard workers. Minnesota, W4 allowance is 1. Filing status, gonna need it. What is it? Single. Missouri, don't need anything here? Really? That's surprising. Why doesn't Missouri do anything? Not used, not used. Is there a county? No. Does want a filing status, so Missouri just wants a filing status out of us. I guess that we'll take it. Mississippi, what do you want? Allowances? Sure. How about 1? Mississippi, you want a filing status? You got it. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be single above there, too. I'm supposed to be single in Missouri. Let's go back that up. All right. Montana. Montana's going to give me allowances, right? Yep, sure. Montana allowances are 1. Montana doesn't need anything else. North Carolina, tell me what to do. North Carolina allowances are 1. And filing status is asking for single. North Dakota, we don't even have tax here. Get out of town. Right? They don't have tax in North Dakota, right? Or, right? Wait a minute. I thought it's one of them, either North Dakota or South Dakota doesn't have tax. Which one is it? North Dakota. Something's hidden. It's hidden right here. North Dakota does have tax. It's South Dakota that doesn't have tax. So wait a minute, North Dakota, you must want something from me, right? What do you want from us? North Dakota doesn't want anything, doesn't even want a filing status? Are you kidding me? That seems weird. Does that even work? We're going to double check that did I forget? I might have forgotten to do North Dakota. Uh-oh. Let's double check. I don't think I did. I don't think I did North Dakota. No, I have North Dakota tax withheld. Sorry, it's there. All right, we're going to find out. All right, I guess North Dakota doesn't care about any information somehow. Good for them. Nebraska. What's up with Nebraska? What do you want to know? Allowances? Sure. How about 1? You want a filing status? I'm going to give it to you. We're going to be single. Here we are. Okay. New Hampshire, no tax. New Jersey, what do you want from me, buddy? You want some W4 allowances? You got it. You got 1. I'm also going to be... Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm not going to be single. I'm going to be rate A, B, C, D, A. I can't remember if it's A or B. We're going with A, but we might be wrong. New Mexico, you don't need anything from me except the filing status. You're going to get it. I'm single. Nevada, no tax. New York, what do you want? What do you want, New York? You're going to get ITW4 allowances, sure. Am I in New York City? I'm going to say no. What's going on here? Oh, I've got to choose whether or not I'm using PFI or STI. That's paid family leave or state disability. Let's say that I'm disabled only and single. That's why I'm single. All right, we're moving. Ohio, what do we do? Ohio, W-2 exemptions, sure. Oh, you're going to ask for a local tax? No problem. Where do I want to live in Ohio? I'll live in Moscow. Sounds great. No, it doesn't. But that's where we're living. No tax. Sounds great. Oklahoma, what do you need? You want W-4 allowances? You got them. You need a filing status? I'm giving it to you. Pennsylvania, what do you want? Uh-oh, you want a local tax? Allentown. We're picking one. You don't want anything else? Fine. Rhode Island, what do you want from me? Rhode Island's going to get some allowances. You got it. Doesn't need a filing status. South Carolina, tell me what you need. More allowances. You got it. Virginia, what do you want? Not much. Just an allowance. Are you buying? Not yet, but I'm getting there. Vermont, I used to live there. Love it. What do you want? Just some allowances. Wait a minute. Utah, forgot. I'm single in Utah. Oh, Wisconsin, what do you need? Okay, I'll go with 1. No, not 11. Exactly. Thank you, Excel, for stopping me for typing that wrong. It's 1. Wisconsin, who are you? You're single. West Virginia. Yeah, what about it? 1. What are you? You're anything but married with employed spouse. Got that right. Boom. We forgot Oregon. How did we forget Oregon? Oregon, what do you need? W-2 blind. Okay, I'll give you an allowance. And then you also need what? A filing status? Sure, I'm single. And I probably transit tax in Oregon too. Bam. Look at that. 20 minutes in, and all of a sudden we have every single state filled in. Now, what was the point of all that? Remember I said I was going to answer a question? Here's what we're going to answer. So here we have every single formula related to all the states and local taxes and everything that we just did, all perfectly mapped and beautifully thrown together in order, related to everything that's taxable. That's what I'm scrolling left on. It's all these states and all these formulas and all the videos that I did. If you check out the thread on kenbraverman.com that may be showing you this video right now, there's all the videos for all the separate states. Now, here's what's cool. This is what's so cool about this. We don't have to look at all this redundant stuff. We don't have to redo any of this. We don't have to worry about any of it. We can start cleaning up this thing and making it work for us. And what I mean by that is, I can say that in this first week of January, if this theoretical single person, oh man, I forgot to do this. Watch this. I forgot to do this whole huge thing. Watch how funny, watch how easy this is. So there are only 5 employees in here. I forgot to do this. All these 51 people, I forgot to add all the stuff into this file. Now, when you order this file from me and you're like, hey, Ken, I need to add employees. I need to add stuff. Like, I need to change pay period frequencies. Like, how do I do this? Can you? And I could try to explain it to you. And I am going to do videos explaining how to do it. But you're probably going to need my help. And the reason why is there's some kind of little tweaky things with it. But here's the interesting part. So like I was just saying, oh, well, I just forgot to add all these other people. Watch how easy it's going to be to add as many people as we want. We're going to pull down, we're going to guess. I'm not doing the math right now, but I'm just going to keep going down. And we'll see where we are. And, massive amount of processing going on here. We're just like doing thousands of calculations. We're up to employee 40, so we're not quite there yet. Let's keep going. We're going to get to employee 51 in a second. I'm guessing I could do the math and do the algebra on it, which I probably should, to know exactly where to pull it down to. That's what I would do if I was doing this for someone specifically, but just to show you how fun it is. Eventually, we're going to get past 51, and it's not going to be relevant anymore. But we're getting down to the 51 employees that we need to have a full list. And it looks like we passed it. We don't even need all these new employees that we did after. You can't see that on your screen. We went to down to employee like 60 something. And we need to stop right where the errors are going to start, right here. So now what we've done is we've changed the data set completely and added all these payroll calculations for all these potential states and everything we ever needed to do, and it's done for this weekly payer with 51 employees. So now here's the fun part. We get to see which states are the coolest. So what we're going to do in this first pay period right here is we're going to give everybody the same amount of wages. This is a weekly pair. So everybody's getting the same amount of money. Let's assume that these people are making like $1,000 a week, everybody. So I'm going to take this $1,000 and I filtered for just this first pay period of the year and put it in there. Now, because we have all the same settings for every single person, as much as we could anyway, in every possible state to make it equivalent, what will end up happening is you'll see that, like your first employee right here in Alaska has no tax and gets a check of 820 bucks. Well, the next employee is not going to be in Alaska. The next employee is in Alabama, and they only get $779 because they have to pay $41 in tax. The next person is in Arkansas, and they have to pay $41 in tax. Alabama, Arkansas, California pays 36 plus state disability insurance. So you can start to see all these different people with different paychecks. Now, what's really interesting, cool about this is you can sort this in a million different ways, or you can use these different pivots, which all we need to do is simply, we need to change one thing, which is we need to change this range because we added a bunch of new records in here. And what's going on in this big pay record sheet where all of your records are going to be is it's every single pay record for every employee for the entire year. It's stacked in a proper order so that it calculates properly. Well, in order to maintain the integrity of that data and to make sure that you're always including all of that data whenever you're looking at your cumulative reports and stuff, this whole thing is set up to be a data set called a named range. 2,655. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right now, the range only goes to employee 5, and we need to change that. We need to change the range of the set because we just added a bunch of employee data. So this thing right here needs to go to 2,655. And now apparently it will. And it looks like it does. So now all we have to do is refresh this and we're going to be able to answer that question I was having. Remember that question I was having? What state pays the least amount of tax? Well, here we go. So this is a pivot table that has all the data we just did for every single person in every single state. And we're going to pull a bunch of junk out of here that I don't feel like we need right now. We're going to forget about this. We're going to forget about that. We're not going to worry about this. We're not going to worry about that. We're not going to worry about this. We're not going to worry about that. There's so many different things that I can help pull out of everyone's, when you do this for your own business, this is what I do to customize the file for you. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you, for example, to make sure that we're doing this properly. Interesting. Why is that 2,400? Because there are 2 pay periods? No, it's interesting. 1,000. I don't know. I haven't dug into all this. But anyway, the point is I was looking at the state tax number over here. This was supposed to give us our answer. So basically, we're going to do this ascending by state tax. And the first thing that's going to pop up is all of the states that don't have any tax, of course. So our employees who are in these states, and this is a totally flexible way of looking at everything. These people that are in these states are not paying any tax at all, any state tax at all anyway. There might be local taxes potentially, but they're not paying any state tax. So, all right, great. We understood that there are a bunch of states that don't have any state tax, so those are going to be cheapest. Well, which one is the cheapest of the states that have tax? And the answer is it's North Dakota, everybody. I was joking about North Dakota. Did I have them? The answer is I do have them. And they're the least expensive place to live, followed quickly by our choice in Arizona. Now, that was a choice by us. You're allowed to actually choose your rate. You're going to owe at the end of the year if you get that wrong. But if we were to change that to 2.7, for example, and go back here and change, you can see Arizona is going to move down on the list. They're not going to be up at the top anymore because we chose that rate. Well, there they are right there. New Jersey, not too far behind. Indiana, Pennsylvania. Who's the worst? Who's the worst? Which is the worst, most expensive place to live? Oh, God, Alabama? No way. You got to be kidding me. No, that's actually, sorry, our wages are doubled there. Why is that going on? What's going on there? Let's fix that. Let's find out what that problem is and why that's not equal to the other ones. I'll show you why. That employee who's in Alabama has some extra wages down here, right? That's what's going on, I think. So that needs to go away. And I think there's something maybe down here. Yeah, there it is. Need to get rid of that. As soon as we get rid of that, we'll see that the wages are going to be equal again. Yes, and it's not Alabama. That's the most expensive place to live because that didn't make any sense anyway. It's Iowa. It is. Wait a minute. No, it's not. Resort. Hold on a second. Descending. Right? No, it is. Okay, I can't add in my head. It is Iowa. Iowa followed by Oregon. I knew Oregon was bad. There's transit taxes and stuff. There's all kinds of stuff, and there's even more on the right of this. Hawaii. Who would have thought? Wisconsin. What are you doing? Arkansas. Yeah, I knew about D.C. South Carolina. No way. Now, is this true for a married person? Let's find out. All right, we're going to change something. Everybody all of a sudden is married. Everybody just got married. This single millennial just found the love of his or her life. And they're now married. They still have one exemption, but all these singles all of a sudden turned into marrieds. Married and one income. Okay? A lot of married and one income. And you can see you need to change this one by one. If you're going to do that, I know that's annoying, but there's really no other way about it. And you could remove everybody and show the ones that you have to do. We're going to call that married dual income down here. Or married, no, not married with employees, just regular married, actually, for West Virginia. Married, right? We're going to do all this, and we're going to say, is the same thing going to happen? I don't know the answer to this. I'm kind of excited to see. See if there's a discrimination between statuses that changes the taxable liability. I don't know the answer to that question. We're going to find out in a minute. Oh, we also don't know if we got our rates right. As a matter of fact, because New Jersey was so low, I have a feeling we put the wrong rate code in for New Jersey, by the way, now that I'm thinking about it. But this is really going to help you catch your errors. God, I'm sorry I'm putting you through this in the video, but this is how you would do it. Guess because they're not all the same. You can see the validation list that is the drop down is actually dynamic and it's changing and it's dependent upon what the state is, which is why I have to click on it one by one. I can't just copy the word married down because it's not necessarily the same word married in every one. All right, now what happens? All right, so here's what our list was. Let's copy this real quick. Here's what our list was when you were single. Let's now see what it is. And if the states stay in the same order, we refresh, and now we're married. Boom! A lot of it stayed the same. A lot of it stayed the same. It looks like Illinois went up a little bit, but a lot of it predominantly stayed the same, didn't it? Yeah. Oh, yep. So not too much difference. That's good, actually. That probably means my formulas are working really well. All right, so what did we learn? We learned that somehow Iowa is a tough place to be single in. That's what we learned in this video. But we also learned that this is working, and we showed a little bit how to enter employee information. In the next videos, I'm going to start talking about daily hour information and then pay period specific information. And then we're going to get into pay stubs and reporting and quarterly reports and everything, which is going to be dynamic and automatic. And yes, this is going to be for sale on January 6th, which is starting in 20 minutes. I'm going to put it up. Even though the federal publication 15 has not yet been finalized, they have released some guidance that's supposed to be close to right. And so at this point, I think I'm titling this video Wait Unless You Can't Wait Anymore or something, I think is what I was going to title this. And it's because if you need your payroll file right now because you got to run payroll and you don't have a stopgap solution right now, I can give you one with federal rates that are anticipated but not yet finalized in the publication 15. I can do that, and then if there's a problem in the future and we need to adjust something or new guidance comes out, we'll just change it going forward. I might have to charge you more for that, but we'll discuss that as it goes. But I understand that people need the product right now, and it's about ready to go. So look for the links in the description, and Payroll 2021 is going on sale. And I'm excited. You should be excited. It's going to make your life easier. So we're making payroll as easy as we can be. All right? Making payroll as easy as we can. So let's make it so.